Tom.
Oh, wait. I wasn't ready. I wasn't smiling.
Hi, I'm Tom.
And I'm Molly.
Welcome to Friends of Gameology, hosted by ForensicGameology.com.
Reviews for science.
In 7 minutes or less.
But today is not a review.
It's news for science again.
News for science.
We're back. We've been gone a little bit, but you haven't noticed. Because, what?
Nothing.
What? No, you're laughing at the camera.
No, I'm laughing at you.
What did I say?
We've been gone, but not really. It was funny.
We were gone, but they didn't know, the viewers, because we've had some videos saved up to cover our absence. We had a baby, a little baby girl, about the size of Molly, and we had already discussed in the last one, I think it was the last news, they were going to call her Megalodon. So we got a little Megalodon, like a little baby shark, and that went well as it could. Game playing is hopefully going to become a priority soon. We switch off now. Back when we had our first one, Pterodactyl, we would just have one of us on call, and then we'd have a game group come over, and then the other one would play games, and then we'd just take every other game, and that's what we're doing this time as well. And when I was explaining that to a friend, they're like, oh, you're doing that because you have a newborn, and I was like, no, we're doing that so one of us will always have an eye on them to make sure we haven't unleashed unspeakable monsters into the world. Because we have a pair of monsters. We actually have two pairs of monsters because we have two dogs and these two kids. And people may be like appalled. I can't believe this new parent is calling his kids monsters. But when you are awake at like 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. because both of them are up simultaneously, you know you've got a pair of monsters. But then it gets worse when the next night you're awake from 1 to 2 with one monster and then 2 to 3 with the other monster. And you hearken back to the last night where you thought it was the worst you could get and you wistfully...
Well, 2:30, so 1 to 2 and then 2:30 to 3:30 would be worse. Like 30 minutes of sleep is even worse than an hour
if you get back to sleep. So, anyhow, our reviews will probably... We'll get there. We're playing a lot of games together, trying to get ready for some reviews. It's just that when we had the last baby, I guess the first baby, I assume it'll be kind of like this. This time will be like that time, in that we won't always play the same game or the same instance of the same game. So while I may be ready, in fact, I've been ready to review Choson for years.
Years.
That's true. Whereas
I didn't say it wasn't true.
You said it with like a skeptical.
Nope, not skeptical.
It was super skeptical. Super. So I've been ready to review that forever because I played it when Molly was sitting out with Pterodactyl. But now Molly's just never played it in the meantime, and so we've never gotten it to review. And I don't know if that's going to happen with games that'll fall by the wayside here, but we are working hard to get out some content for you.
I do want to talk about that, because on this past week, Tom played, and I didn't. And I sat there and watched them.
What? You did too?
No, in this particular game. Just this one game.
Okay, I thought you meant like all I did was play games and all you did was sit there and watch. You made it sound...
I'm talking about this specific game.
All right.
So he played Splendor. We have reviewed Splendor. Great game. Spoiler alert. And... great components, too.
Yeah. Those poker chips, so good.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't ever get me, but apparently they're amazing poker chips. But, and we've always joked about how quiet it gets when you play Splendor. And I can attest that it is exactly what happened. There were 4 of them on the table. The game that was chosen was Splendor. Okay, let's play Splendor. And they played it, and they pulled it out, and they were chit-chatting, and then silence. The entire game. And that's how Splendor goes.
And that's why I get together with people, is to socialize. And to sit there and just stare at the cards. And, just take it real serious. Yeah, well, Splendor's one of those games where you just... there's enough tension where you're like, I can't talk. And I think it's because the turns go so quickly. There's a lot of games out there where there's a lot of tension and a lot of thinking, but turns generally take a long time, so the other people that aren't on their turn can chit-chat or whatever. This game is not that, right? So... very quiet, very somber experience that I had while watching our babe, who was also asleep. So there was just quiet in the house, and I was like, oh. You'd think that after a baby, you'd want quiet in the house, so you're welcome. Also, on the subject of games, Vast. We played it. Oh, yes. The dragon won. Spoiler alert. I didn't say Molly won. I said the dragon won.
Oh, I said I won.
Can I just...
I won. I was a dragon.
May I? Some people have laws. Like Tom Vassell has Vassell's Law, which is that if a game is good enough that it's gone out of print, it will come back into print. And there's a couple other people out there with laws that they have. I have a law, and it may not actually be very law-ish. It may be more of like a rule or a philosophy or a way of life. But it is a way of life. My law that I came up with by myself is that any game that anyone, let's just put it like this, no one's score at the table counts if anyone at the table is playing for the first time. So any game at which somebody's playing the first time, nobody's score counts. Which I think people do innately, oftentimes. When they're playing with somebody new, they'll try like a crazy strategy that they wouldn't typically try. Because like, why am I going to wreck you? Why am I going to just go and play like super awesome Dominion cards while you're trying to figure out what Dominion's all about? And then I'm like, hey, I got 83 points. And I'm like, I got 12. And so I'm not here to smash you in your first game. So the score doesn't count. No one's score counts. It's just a learning opportunity, that first game. And I actually appreciate when people take to that and just play and try to figure it out. And that was something that was really cool about the Scythe rulebook, the Stonemaier game Scythe. It said, if it wasn't the rulebook, it was one of the player aids.
It was the little cheat sheet that said just your first couple turns is to understand. Yeah.
Well, it said something like, act like you're pulling levers and pushing buttons just to see what happens. And like, maybe it won't be the most optimal move, but you can save that for the second game. And I dig that because the opposite is so much worse when somebody's playing for the first time and they're trying to optimize every move and scrutinize every angle and get everything covered. And I'm just like, man, you're taking forever.
You're trying to understand.
Of course
everything.
You can't know what to do. It's your first time playing. Let's go. So I bring that up mostly because Molly didn't win. She couldn't have won. No one could have won that first game. It was the first game for all of us, all four of us. You know, we have a friend named Emily.
The dragon won, and I was playing
the dragon.
Won,
but Molly didn't win. So we have a friend named Emily. She'll hopefully appreciate this shout out. She recently subscribed to us on YouTube. She had subscribed. She had subscribed several years ago, and then I saw her name pop up as a subscriber, and I was like, "You've got to be joking with me."
I called her out at the hospital.
That's right. Was that at the hospital? I noticed that.
No, yes, and I called her out that night.
So you called her out at the hospital,
right? She came to visit us. Yeah.
She came to visit us. And Molly laid into her and told her what for. How dare you not subscribe to us as a friend for so long? And she goes, no, I did subscribe. I accidentally unsubscribed and resubscribed. So she's a recent subscriber. And sometimes she loves cooperative games. And so does Molly. I mean, I'd rather play competitive, but I will play cooperative and enjoy myself. So they're always suggesting cooperative games. And whenever we play one for the first time, if we win, I have to remind her every single time, it didn't count. We were playing for the first time. Somebody here is playing for the first time. To where she started saying now that she'll go home and like lower the blinds and turn off the light, just dim the light, and do a little happy dance where no one can see. Because it counts to her. And I'm like, it doesn't even count then.
It counts her.
It's illegal. You've done an illegal dance and you're at my mercy and I could call the cops right now and send you to jail. Because that's not how it works. It's the law. It's against Tom's law.
In her home it counts lots of times.
What?
That's what she says.
That's also, you can't just make your own law in your own house. Like, I can't steal from someone that comes into my house and just say, well, the law in here is that I get to steal from you. That's not how laws work.
Yeah, laws also need to be passed through lots of channels.
Mine did. Well, he's passing through the internet right now.
Oh, okay.
Like wildfire. All right, so we played Vast. I was the goblins, and I loved playing as the goblins. I don't know if I would have liked playing as other stuff, though. After we were done playing, I thought, I want to play this again as the goblins.
Well, I think we all want to play what we were because we were all like, oh, now I know how to play. And so now we want another crack at what we were. But I do want to try the other ones. Are you just noticing how tall you are?
No, I'm looking at you to try to be natural. We have this conversation every time. So here's my point. Sometimes people complain, I don't know if they've ever complained about us, but I've read about other reviewers how they only stare at the camera or they only stare at the person. So I try to go back and forth to make a semblance of looking natural. Trying to trick you into thinking that I'm natural up here, like this is my natural state. Which, by the way, can I just say, we don't filter. Even though I have my persona, like we joked about with the this thing that I don't do in real life, but I always say in 7 minutes or less.
3 times in each of our 7-minute videos.
So we have a couple of tics on the show, but we really don't filter. In real life, this is what I do. This is who I am. And I because I think sometimes people get more exuberant on camera, or they tone it down, or they try to put on a persona.
I do.
We're just a couple of schlemiels in real life and on camera.
I would never call myself a schlemiel.
We're a couple of schlemiels.
I don't like that word. I would never call myself that.
I'm not quite sure what it means. I just know it's derogatory.
That's
I have to think it's derogatory. I don't know what it means. But anyway, the reason I was looking at you is because we have a whiteboard over here, and I wrote some notes on it for this this session. And I kept looking, and every time I looked, Molly would like bring her head up, and so I'd be like trying to look, and then she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "You're calling me out, bro. Come on, I'm trying to surreptitiously look at the notes I put up there."
So another thing about Tom, the reason I was asking him this question is he likes to be better at me than at things.
Better than you.
Yeah, not at,
like
that's
grammar.
Why I was confused. Yeah, well, yeah, you definitely are. But he likes to be better, which he often fails at. There's a few things, like grammar, that he does succeed at. And being taller, because he happens to be almost a foot taller than me.
A foot better.
And taller.
A foot better.
Oh, most definitely not better. Anyways, and so I just thought he was trying to one-up me, even though he doesn't have to try hard. I just thought he was trying to...
Do people get this far in the news?
I know, they've stopped
like, in the
listening.
comments, could you just be like, yeah, I got that far. Like, if you're driving right now and you're listening to this, could you just pull over?
And then type
quick
it.
comment and be like, I got this far. But no farther.
But I'm done now.
So, Vast, I'm excited to play again.
Yep.
Don't know when that'll be. It's a difficult game because you really have to come knowing how to play.
Yeah, your specific role.
Right. It'd be a real pain to sit and listen to everyone's rule sheet. It really would. And I mean, granted, you need to kind of know how other people play. But that's what I think the first game was for.
Yeah.
Now I know how to stop the dragon because, before I was just trying to pull levers and...
I'll just eat you.
I don't even care. I got plenty of goblins.
I know, and I ate them all.
You ate them all?
No, I ate a lot of them, though.
So I just want to say, the other day, I was looking at a video. I subscribed to No Yes on the subreddit r/no yes, where like it looks like something bad's gonna happen, then something good happens instead. That or it was Premature Celebration. I can't remember. Both excellent subs. I definitely recommend them. And in one of them, it talked about how the world champion of darts almost got destroyed by this commoner of darts, this me of darts. It seemed like this person, was just a local that didn't really belong. And it was going to be this huge upset, and then it wasn't. And I watched the video, and I didn't understand at all what was going on. Apparently, the scoring in darts was just very complex for a new person without any context. And which I didn't know. I always thought you just wanted to get a bullseye. Not true. It's so much more than that. And I showed Molly. I don't know if you know this about Molly because, we're just huge geeks. We're just the biggest nerds. And we don't try to hide it. I'm wearing a Flash shirt that I made. And it's my favorite shirt. So I mean, like, I get it. But what you probably don't know is that Molly is one of, like... her number one hobby, and I'm not joking, is probably watching sports. And it doesn't matter what sport. Like, when you've seen swimming, they go down one lane, they come back down. I can see that once. I've seen it a million times.
So much more than that.
I don't need to see... they're defending this nonsense. So,
there are some sports I don't want to watch.
But she watched this thing in darts with me. And then I said to her, that's pretty cool. Are we dart people now? And she's like, no, we're not dart people. Darts is weird. I come home like the next day. She's watching darts. I'm like, what are you watching? She's trying to cover it up. I'm like, what are you watching? What are you trying to cover up? What's this secrecy in our marriage? And it turns out it's darts. I was like, you're a dart person now. And lo and behold, months later, looking up, like, she knows the players' names now, past world champions. It's a whole thing. It's out of control.
Van Kerwin!
The announcers for darts are so nuts.
They're good. Well, when they score well. So the highest score you can get on one, because there's 3 darts, and the highest score you can get is a triple 20 3 times. And so 180.
Because it's triple 20 is 60, 60, 60.
They yell it and they go, 180! And they're not American. It's all in Europe, so they definitely have European accents, which I didn't convey well there, but
it's great.
So I do love darts now.
So that was kind of a tangent that I got on, but I do want to say in upcoming news, March Madness. I'm not even a big basketball guy. I'm really horrible at basketball. It's just a sport that passed me by despite the hours of practice I put into it as a youth. It's just some things
it passed you by. That didn't pass you by. Like you just didn't.
Some things you just have to accept you will never be good at, no matter how hard you try. And like my parents would always say, like if you try really hard, and like in this case, that is false. If no matter how hard I try, that game is not going to come to me. But anyway,
same with me.
I love brackets. I love trying to predict the future. I love playing like fantasy sports and trying to optimize my teams. And March Madness is not fantasy. You don't get to switch things out in the middle of the season and whatnot. I mean, we'll go as far as to play fantasy ultimate frisbee. Like we'll dig down. Like we've done football, ultimate frisbee, but with March Madness, I think we're going to create a bracket. I'm trying to think of like a super cool prize, or at least a prize I can afford. And we just had a baby, so and put that as like something that we can invite viewers to play against us, and whoever wins gets the thing. You know, maybe one of the games we review that was sent to us or something like that. Whatever, we'll figure something out. I just think it'd be fun. To play with a bunch of people who we've engaged with via the comments or just watching our videos, and that's coming up in the news because March Madness, I love it. I just love it so much.
Yeah,
and it's a month away.
It's a week of joyful basketball.
It really is, and it's like all I'm going to talk about with everyone. Hey, how's your bracket doing? Oh, you used your bracket tank. Thank goodness, because I'm still going strong. I won last year.
Yeah, well, the sad thing about March Madness is my team is not as good as it should be.
So you can never vote for your team. You can never put them. Yeah,
I generally do.
I generally put them like one or two. I put them one or two levels deep, and then I get smart.
Okay, Texas, University of Texas. I know there's a lot of hate for University of Texas. That's where I went to school, and that's where I was in the Longhorn band.
For goodness sake,
I'm a huge geek, and I was in the Longhorn band. So, but we're just not that good at football or basketball recently. So it's super sad.
All right. We got a couple of games in the mail. I need to talk to these folks about this because they're probably wondering. People send us games, and I try to be quick about reviewing them because, I mean, these are essentially free games. And I say that with air quotes because there's work.
And we're doing them a service, too, and they're doing us a service, so it's like
it goes both ways. It goes both ways, but I don't want to sit on these for months. But the problem is Evasion is a, what is it, it's 4 or more players. It's a social deduction game. That's what was.
I was like, I don't know what you want.
It's a social deduction game, so I want to play with more players, but with having the new baby and trying to get everything worked out, like it's obviously a priority. We're trying to get back into playing more games and whatnot. But Naturally Disastrous and Evasion, and we got actually the Jamie Stegmeyer sent us the Viticulture Essential Upgrade Pack, which I'm very excited because we reviewed Viticulture and I just glowing review. So we're excited to play that one as well, and I hope that they all watch this. Because I wrote back to Jamie, and I think I wrote back saying I received these to the other folks, but I don't know that they know that we're having a baby.
Right, and if they don't watch our channel, they're not going to know
That's the thing. A lot of people that send us stuff, or even just write to us, like I complained about in one of our double feature. If you go look at our double feature review, where I complained that people write in and say, Tom, I noticed you love party games. I'm like,
no,
I hate party games. And so like people like. I think they catch us on 1 or 2 games. Like they look for a game that's similar to theirs, find a reviewer. Oh, Tom and Molly reviewed this. They should review mine. And they only watch that one video, and they don't really know me. I don't know if they know that we just had a kid, and these are going to take a while. But what's cool is about these is they're both alien games, UFOs, aliens. In fact, in this one you play as the aliens, which is pretty cool. And then this guy, either or, it's social deduction, so it's one team versus the other. What do you got? Anything else? I'm looking to see what we. The fact that our first child is gigantic. I thought she was small. I did. I mean, granted, she's like 1 million pounds. Like whenever I pick her up, I'm like, oh man, I'm so tired already. Constant.
30. She's 30 pounds.
30 1,000,000 pounds. And
practically.
And now that I have this new kid, like my old kid is just like an adult already. She's only 2, and I'm like, man, I've got an adult on my hands. Like she can do things, and she's big, and she's huge. She's nearly as tall as Molly.
She is over half my height.
At 2 years old.
That is true.
That is magical. But yeah, that's all the stuff I had on there. We played Pixel Tactics. We're going to review it. I don't know if I'll ever feel good about reviewing it, because I don't know if I'll ever plumb the depths of just the one box. Like, there are a lot of Pixel Tactics in the series. I think I saw something on Pixel Tactics 5, so there's at least 5, and there may be 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, I don't know, but we've got the first, and I don't know if I'd ever be able to plummet strategic depths, because there's so much going on in this game. But it's coming up. We're going to review it. Flip City, we got to review. We've had this for a long time. It's time to review it. Micro Deck Builder. So we just learned a valuable lesson in clearing our memory card, because as I was speaking about Pandemic Iberia, a little message flashed on our camera that says memory card full. That could also be that this video is, I think, over 20 minutes now. Our timer blinked off in the middle of it because it only goes for 15 minutes, which typically doesn't happen to the 7-minute or less people.
Yeah.
Really, we should save some news for like next week or something, but it's been a busy week. Anyway, we don't have a set number of times we play games. It's just, did we play it enough to get an honest-to-goodness feel for it? And I feel like Pandemic, I could play fewer times because it's Pandemic. Like, there are some very big differences than the base set, but there's a lot of similarities that I could just start playing pretty quickly. But I just like this, and I want to make sure I play all the roles and see all the roles in play and all of them. Boy, there's a ton of event cards. Like in the base set, they come with like 5. Then the next one adds like 8 more. There's a lot.
Yeah, there's at least 10. I feel like there's more than 10.
No, it's 15.
There's 15.
Yeah. So,
but you only play with 4, or it depends.
Well,
you only play with a certain number at a time.
Based on player count. Today we played and we only played with 4 because we're 2 players. So anyway, excited to review this one. Got a bunch coming up. Do you have anything, Gail? Anything else?
No.
Well, this was probably the longest video we've ever done. Even maybe more than
our playthroughs.
Our playthroughs. How humiliating. We'll have to exercise brevity in the future.
Maybe.
No promises.
We've presented the evidence.
You be the judge.